All right. Welcome back. You know, I don't like really long introductions, so I'm just going to go ahead and go right into the energy. Right into the energy. Ooh. See? Okay. So I'm getting a very, not a very young energy, but I'm getting a young type of energy. Someone who is filled with a lot of passion and hope. That's in a situation where they are emotionally unstable, and it's because their foundations are crumbling. They're not in community with others. The way of life that they used to know is gone. And there is a refusal to transform. And maybe not just a refusal. Actually, I'm not going to say maybe. It's not just a refusal to transform. It's the lack of knowledge on what to do, how to move forward. There's a transformation that needs to happen, but unfortunately, because of the lack of community and stability and this give and take energy, it's like this person has no guidance. These people have no guidance. And that begs the question of where are the adults in the picture? Where are the elders in the picture? And I'm getting that a lot of the elders also don't have a roadmap for this particular scenario. They don't have a roadmap for this particular scenario. So there is a partnership that is not being accepted. There are people out there who do have a roadmap, but it's almost like this person doesn't see it as valuable, or like this person, I almost forgot to turn on my lights. Let's try this again. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. It's almost like this person doesn't see this offer and this partnership as valuable. This does not give me romantic vibes. This gives me there's someone who is more, who understands the situation better than you do, or better than this person, because again, it might not be you, but better than the collective does. There's a group of people out there. There are people who understand it, but it's almost like, this group, whoever this is, or this person, doesn't want it. So this person has to, you have a decision. There's a big decision to make. These people that I'm reading for, they have a decision to make. But it's almost like these people have no patience. They don't understand delayed gratification. And that is the problem. A lot of people are so used to having things so quick and fast in a hurry, and this is the energy that this person is also giving off, is that people want things quick, fast, in a hurry. But you're going to have to take time and invest in something. You're going to have to invest in the community. A lot of people are starting to realize that going to higher education, and I'm not saying that it's not important. It is very important to educate yourself. It is very important to get accurate information, but it's becoming a closed opportunity for people to be able to get higher education, to be able to have the things that what is it, the American dream. And if those roads are being closed, or if those roads are being blocked where you're no longer getting accurate information from those roads, then those roads are no longer necessary. Oh shit, I'm so sorry, my brain. Whew. This reminds me of how a lot of universities are taking out important information about minorities in history. They're altering things. And so you have to ask your question, are those institutions still trustworthy? Education is very important, but is an altered version of history important to receive? Is just doing the thing important, or is it actually getting the information and actually critically thinking about the world that we live in? A lot of y'all need to, not y'all, but this person, this group, these humans, I'm going to start talking like that. Humans need to realize that you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to start from scratch. There is already a playbook out there, and those who do not want the progress of everyone, they're using a playbook. They are using a playbook. There is already a playbook out there for y'all, for these humans. For these humans that I'm reading for, there is already a playbook out there. There are already people who know what to do. There are already people who are not only emotionally invested, but they are also grounded in their perspective, and they want to work together with others. It's just that there are some humans, even though they want the progress of all, it's almost like they don't trust it, they don't want it, they're bored, they find that it takes too long. Things are not going to happen overnight. We live in a world where you can literally get almost anything instantly. And that type of instant gratification is causing people to not be patient when it comes to fighting and linking up with others and collaborating with others. All the things that you know are crumbling. They are going to crumble. And it's because so many people refuse to address the corruption at the beginning of it. There's going to be a transformation. No matter how much you resist it, the transformation is going to happen. Now, whether you're going to be on the other end of transformation where you're going to be happy and prosperous, that's a different story. We're in a moment where people need to start doing something. You know, back in the day, black people had to use something called the church as a cover. I am not a religious person, but I am someone who is very strategic on how I move through this world. And I believe that being strategic is very important to move through this world. And if the laws that be are allowing you to do such and such a thing, then it is very important for y'all to use things in order to get where you need to be. Use these things to get to where you need to be. If the public education system is failing, I'm just saying you can use the church as a cover to teach accurate history. I'm just saying. Why not? Not only are you helping people religiously save their souls. I hope you get what I'm putting down. Not only are you saving souls, but you're preserving history, true history, real history. You're teaching the children how to critically think, showing them how to farm, teaching them laws. But some of these human beings that I'm personally reading for, who want the better for the rest of society, they want a progressive world, but they have no passion in it. They have no passion in it, and they choose to fight the battle by themselves. They have no understanding of collective power. No understanding of collective power. They don't want to be in this. Look, it says it right here. There are people who have a rule book. They have a playbook. They're able to even offer you a community in a sense, and it's almost like these human beings don't want it. Now ask yourself what world is going to come out of it when the people who want to take things from everyone and give it to a small percent, when they are actually going by a rule book and they're linking up and doing these crazy things, and you don't have that type of system in place, what type of outcome do you think this is going to be? There is energy of keep fighting the good fight for the human beings who are linking up with people, and that will bring a victory. But there's also stagnation. It's almost like going in circles because there's not a collective forward movement on this. The truth is, a lot of people have been saying, even before the powers that be got their power currently, and this is a Western, I can't speak for any other people, I can just speak for the Western cultures, I can speak for those of who's in the US. There were people who were sounding off the alarms a long time ago, people who told you about how this system was ran for everybody in that system, not just one particular group of people who were doing bad things, but everybody in that system. They're in it together. There's going to be a change in events. Some type of luck is going to come out of this, and and these group of humans are going to have to seize the opportunity. Is there going to be pain? Yes. But the collective front, the collective movement is what's going to allow people to come out of this heartbreak. I'm just so frustrated because you're going to have these groups of human beings are going to have to realize, and I'm only speaking for this reading, is that there is no prosperity in this idea of individualism. Sooner or later, not later, but it seems like sooner more than later, some of these human beings are going to have to wake up. They're going to have to come out of this idea that working alone is going to be the option, or working in small groups is going to actually, no, this is still alone, because the foundations that have allowed people to invest in individualism is crumbling. It is crumbling, and this way of life is going to be no more. What world do you want to build? You're going to have to ask yourself, what world do you want to build? What world do you want to build? What world do you want to live in? It starts with the intellect. It starts with the brain. These humans are going to have to move forward from the past mentally. Look at these people. Look at this person. They are worn out. They're tired in old age. And it's not like these warning signs haven't been here. It's just the most vulnerable are the ones that have been talking about it. The most vulnerable are the ones that have been taking the hardest hits, the ones that had to have most of the swords. And you see how these swords are in front of this person? That is how you're going to know. That is how you're going to know. Is if the most vulnerable are being targeted, that's how you will know. You need to, people, look at this. You see this protection around them? That is what should have been invested in a long time ago. Those who are able-bodied, those who can do the work, those who can do... I'm sorry, it's just a lot for me. This message is crazy. Look at this able-bodied person moving this elderly person forward with the protection in front of them. A lot of the culture that has been fed to us has been about youth being kind of the only thing that's important. You get all these ads and these commercials about, people in their youth drinking, partying, having a good time, making a lot of money. And in that being the only focus has steered us away from actually protecting and wanting a better life for the most vulnerable, the elderly in our lives. Protecting them. It's almost like people think that once you get past a certain age, you have no meaning. You have no meaning. Particularly people of certain demographics have no meaning, no purpose. And they forget to put the swords in front of them. They forget to navigate the world so that we can protect the most vulnerable. And this is how we ended up in this situation in the first place. And don't forget, children are also vulnerable as well. The traditions that we once knew are being used in very toxic ways. And not to say that they weren't toxic from the beginning, because they were. They were always toxic. But now it's actually being used against other people. Now it's being used against people who do not want to participate in this type of tradition. There is an offer that will be coming, and I think, not that I think, but those who are younger, and I'm talking like 20s, 30s, maybe even a little bit younger than that, they are going to have, there's a message. There is a message. It's like there's some of those out there who have the hope of stability. And these are the people that we're going to have to seek refuge. We're going to have to actually accept the message of hope, that there can be stability. Accept that we can build a better future. Look around and watch other countries, other places, and know that it is very possible. We don't have to have that corruption. Some human beings have lost their hope. They have lost hope for stability, and it's almost like they're like every man for himself. And because a lot of y'all are scrambling and not linking together, it will be. You're going to every man for themselves y'all ways into one of them cages that you keep ignoring exist for other people out there. That's what's going to happen. You have a decision to make to stop putting in effort in a place where you're not going to reap rewards. The humans out there are putting their effort and their soul into something that's not going to benefit them, something that they're not going to be able to benefit from. Remember what I said earlier about if the means of getting educations are being tampered with, are they valid anymore? Do you need to be putting your life and investing in something that's not valid anymore? That goes for a lot of other things. It doesn't have to be just institutions that are changing history or erasing history. It's other things as well. Please think outside of the box. You're investing in these companies that won't give you anything solid back. You will get nothing. You will get nothing. You will get a temporary form of happiness. And it's all because so many of y'all refuse to be patient. You want immediate gratification. These human beings want immediate gratification. And they're simply just choosing, and a lot of human beings are simply just choosing the chaos. They're choosing the snakes. And this might seem empowering for some people, this fist, but it also may be someone punching. Mink, mink, mink. I'm just saying. You think you looking in there, you about to get some empowerment, and you get a punch to your face. People are making decisions out of this like need. I'm getting this need to be right, this need to fight, just so that they can hold on to what little crumbs that they have. And it's almost like they're not seeing that this type of fight is hurting others. There are some human beings out there who are trying to tell you that all this fighting for no reason, all this stubborn and egoic energy, this false intellect, where humans, one group of humans are thinking or getting satisfaction, mental satisfaction, out of just mentally arguing and beating people down. Just arguing and beating people down. And you isolate yourself from those who actually do have the solutions. And they're not simple solutions. That's the problem, is that, again, a lot of human beings are starting to lose patience when it comes to planning. They don't want patience. They don't want to collaborate with others. So you're gonna wait until the end of the world, until you're in one of them little cages that y'all keep ignoring and pretending don't exist, before you realize? And when everybody is in them cages, who's gonna save you? When they ship y'all off to these different islands and these different places, who's gonna save you if everybody's there? A lot of humans are losing hope because they're dealing in a world of corruption, where people are stealing from others, where people are getting away with it. Who allows people to get away with it? Being trained in a cult-like way, in accepting corruption, accepting abuse, accepting people doing harm to others and getting away with it. You look around at the justice system and see how many people get away with heinous things, and everyone just sits there and goes, I guess that's just how it is. We just let these people walk away. We let these corrupt people, these humans, a group of humans is just watching corruption happen and doing nothing. Well, what can we do? What can we do? We don't have money. We can't sue them. When has suing anybody ever? I'm just saying, there are people who make the laws. There are people who make the rules. Do you not think that they can't avoid? They can't just hire somebody to get around the rules? They do it all the time. Maybe there's other means to fighting something other than, hiring people who would actually work for your enemies, who have an obligation to those who are actually who are actually corrupt. Again, some human beings don't want to work well with others. And I don't know who out there is watching this, but your salvation is working well with others. Your stability is going to be working well with others. There needs to be teachers, people who are willing to teach the truth, and people who are willing to be students. That includes you. That includes all human beings. Human beings, if you are skilled in the ways of a farmer, how do you expect someone else who's a lawyer? Why would a lawyer come and try to tell you about your business? Someone who has no clue about it. No clue. How would a lawyer who doesn't specialize in what you do, why would they have authority over you? And some of these humans need to learn that there are people out there who are wiser and smarter in a specific sector that they need to take the lead from. There are those out there who are guiding, but so many are too stubborn and pig-headed. You're gonna lose your stability. You're gonna lose your stability. You're going to lose what you have. You're already losing it. Because so many people want to be experts but actually don't want to put in the work to be an expert at something. How are you going to tell an environmental scientist that they're wrong? And you got 2 minutes of Google search and they got a 5-6+ years under their belt. How arrogant is that? How arrogant is that? How arrogant is that? You get online and you Google for 3 seconds and you think you know more than someone who's been in the field for 5+ years, 10+ years, who are trying to warn you about the atrocities that are going to happen? How would you like it if someone came to your job that you've been doing for 10 years, that you know, that you have been praised for, that you've gotten awards for because you are very good at what you're doing, and they come in and they only have 2 seconds of Google, have never done your work, and they tell you that they know more about your job than you do? And this has happened to some human beings out here. Some of these human beings who are watching right now, this has happened to you. You have to apply that same type of feeling when you're out there talking to others, and you have to learn how to be okay with being a student. You are going to cycle through all of these at some point. If you have a skill out there, you know how to grow something, you are going to be able to teach it to someone. You are. And then there are those who are going to be on the front lines. Sometimes it's not your job to be the face of things because maybe you don't know as much. Maybe you need to be the student while this person is teaching both of y'all. And this person will be the person to get it out because of their charisma, because they work well with people. I'm getting this position to me are those who are good at communication skills and they have the charisma to talk to other people. This is the learning. This is those who need to learn. And some humans out there need to realize you got to be a student at some point. You got to be a student at some point. You got to let others lead you. There's nothing wrong with being led by the right people. By the right people that causes for discernment. And again, it was here it is. I was about to say there's a card where it talks about a lot of humans have recently not been very discerning in how they're moving. Not very discerning at all. Very egoic. Some of these human beings have not been discerning. Again, this might not be you. This might be a message that you need to talk to other people about. There may be a person who has this, it's very, I don't want to say angelic. It's more like for lack of better terms, an empress energy. Someone who sits back and things comes to them. Someone who's very charismatic. Someone who is not fazed by the words of others. They are sitting on their throne. They are sitting pretty. And again, this reminds me of the person in this card where they're the ones who are able to speak out and reach other people. Sometimes it's not everybody's job. And for particular reasons why it's not everybody's job. Sometimes you need to be the person building the structures, teaching those so that they can go off and build the structures themselves as well. Structures so that others can go out there and preach and talk. There's somebody who's very charismatic. Very charismatic. And when I say charismatic, and they may actually be egoic too, but there's someone who listens, because this is a positive. If they were negative, they'd be in the reverse, but this is a positive. This is someone who knows how to balance being in the spotlight and not letting shit get to their head where they won't listen to other people. Every once in a while. See, another thing is that we rely too much on individuals to go out there and fight the good fight. And it's like we shouldn't have one person educated talking. There should be multiple people who are educated, multiple people who are educated on the topic. Because if you've noticed, once you have a leader in those positions and those people are talking and they're making sense and they're getting other people to understand the circumstances that they're in, these people disappear. Something happens to these people. If you have multiple people, if you don't have one person that can be pinned down, it'll be better. But there are people out there who just have the spark and the energy. They have a way of of amassing followers, of amassing people who want to please them. And there is victory in those people. There is victory, but you can't just put it all on one person. There has to be multiple people. Multiple people have to start trying to get in this energy. But that requires you to become a student, to start learning from others. And if you are someone who has a skill, teaching others as well. Some human beings out here are not going to be able to move forward because they're using everything they have, the power and the power in they're using all their tools in a very manipulative and terrible way. So they're not going to be moving forward. And this is also a warning for those who see people, who see people doing really bad things and using their power for bad, to know that forward movement and progress is not in those people. And I think a lot of human beings make a lot of excuses for people that they admire simply because they admire them or love them or care for them. And it's time to stop making excuses, because it's keeping human beings stagnant. Human beings are not going to be able to progress. They're not. Human beings will never progress when the majority allows for these manipulative people to I'm sorry, this is pissing me off. Allowing these manipulative people to just get away with anything because they feel like they don't, because these other human beings feel like they don't have power. And a lot of these human beings are looking up to these people. They're looking up to them, even though there's no forward progression. All right, universe. Spirits, guides, entities, we're about to close this out. Give me the last bit of information you want the collective to know for the progress of mankind, and help guide me to get the message out properly. What else do you want to say? That's it? Alright. So in this end, I got the message of courage. A lot of human beings are going to have to be courageous. A lot of y'all are going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to move forward with courage. There are more of you than there are them. There's too much fighting. There's too much infighting. It's almost like a lot of people don't know who the enemy is. You're going to have to start being discerning when it comes to who the enemy is and lay down these burdens. There are some passions that people have that you're going to have to deconstruct. Why do you think being a billionaire is so important? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to hoard? Why do you want to be a celebrity? Why do you want so much adoration at the expense of yourself? At the expense of others? Why is that your only focus? Why is that your only goal? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be admired, but when you ignore everything else, why do you think competition is so important? Why do you want to be distracted? There's a bunch of passion that people have that have it's weighing humans down, and humans aren't questioning it. Who told you that those things were important? Who told you that that was going to bring you emotional fulfillment? Because look what it's brought most of y'all. Just baggage. Baggage because you want it so bad. What needs to happen is justice. Y'all need to start standing in justice, moving towards justice, a balance. And this is for everyone. At a small percent, there is enough. There is enough. And we are smart enough to make it enough. That's the thing about humans. You're not stupid. You're not stupid. There is enough. And if we run out, we are smart enough to make more. We can do more if we didn't spend all this time fighting. How far do you think we could have come in society had we not been trying to stop other groups from progressing? Fighting with each other when we could be solving fucking world hunger. Fighting with each other to prove someone is better. These ideals that you have that are weighing society down, that brings you no value. You get no value. You get no emotional fulfillment. You just get ego. You just get ego and lack of progress moving forward for everyone. That's all you get. In corruption and allowing those who are corrupt to stay in power. That's all you get from this. That's all you will get from these passions that are weighing you down. You need to let them go. You need to let them go. Ask yourself why these things are so important. Ask yourself why the people at the top are telling you to only focus on your family and your family alone. Ask yourself these questions. It is time for you to step into a new era. This is all I got for you all. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good afternoon. You have a good evening and have a good night. And I hope I'll see you in the next one.